Talofa lava, or as The Rock would say, Sawir, Chihu, Kawaliko, and welcome to our brand new panel show, where if you got something to say, you better say it with your chest. We would like to welcome our very special guests and their chests to the panel today. Today, we're talking about everyone's favorite uncle, Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Some would say he's the hero of the Pacific. Well, mostly Samoans claim that. But some are starting to question if he is just for the clout and exploiting our culture for capital gain in Hollywood. What do y'all think, panel? The Rock of Polynesia or just rock bottom?
I think he's done a great job. His movies alone have grossed over, it's knocking on $20 billion worldwide. That's an accomplishment as a human being. And then the fact that he's half black, half Polynesian is like a bonus for us. So when you're walking through the village with no shoes and you got no food, torn clothes, or you go past that one house in the village that got TV and the Rock's on there, you go, that could be me one.
I feel like he's very smart in the way that he's like monetized on his Samoanness. I don't necessarily think that he reciprocates that service Samoa has given to him back to Samoa.
You can do both. You can like praise his greatness and also talk about some things that you're uncomfortable with. So the haka is massive for me. Like I can't look past that. Like why would you slaughter something like that for any kind of monetary gain? I just think we should be careful with how we label people heroes.
Me being Tongan, I know someone's claim them, but it's a pretty cool thing. Let's look at Moana, for example. It's created a platform for us musicians. You know what I mean? Like now we've got the whole world looking into the Pacific Islands. And now they're like looking in like for music. And it's a pretty cool thing. It's created like opportunities for our people.
I'm not trying to dispute how great he is. Like to be in a movie theater in Samoa, like being at Apollo Cinemas and watching a rock movie with like everyone, it's like everything he says, people are like, oh, like, yeah, like, oh. Yes. I know for me, like, you give back to your community what they give to you. And obviously, the Samoan culture has given him a lot. Pacific culture has given him a lot. And what has he given back besides representation?
Does he owe us genuineness in his performances and his role and the way that he expresses his culture? Are we owed that from him because we're Pacific?
I don't think so. I don't think no one owes me anything.
I think that people do let him get away with things. Like the bare minimum would be to pronounce words correctly.
That's that movie, huh? The Fast and Furious movie?
Hobson Shaw.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
Please, keep going. I wasn't tripping because to me it was like, okay, so it's not Samoan, Polynesian, so maybe, you know, benefit of the doubt, you call it what you want. Maybe they was trying to just throw a whole bunch of poly words in there.
But that's problematic in itself, right? Like we can't be just chucking words together to make it more inclusive. Like we actually have to work on inclusivity.
People aren't asking a lot from him. It's how you show up for us when we are struggling, when we were losing babies to the measles. How did you show up for us?
Do you think it's sort of like an unfair pressure we put on Pacific people who make it big or who make it anywhere, that they have to give back in some way?
I think it's all part and parcel, eh? You know, I feel personally, not on a level where The Rock is, you know, I owe that back to the community. So whenever they need something, if we are free, we're there.
As far as feeling obligated, I never really feel obligated to do anything. It's just like, it comes naturally because of how we were raised.
Like, I don't want The Rock to like give us money and be like, oh, I have to do this, so I'm gonna pay you guys. Like, we want him to feel a part of our whole Pacific family. Give your voice, lend your hand, like let people know that you're there and you care.
Well, we've come to the end of our panel discussion, and now we're gonna ask the question. The Rock, is he the Rock of Polynesia or is he rock bottom?
He's the Rock of Polynesia.
I think he's the Rock Polynesia, and that's why we need to question him and hold him accountable.
I think he's a hero.
Rock of Polynesia with a little bit of bottom.
If you want to be a part of the conversation, go online, tell us your opinions, tell us your thoughts on Twitter, Instagram, all of that, and hashtag it with
Say it with your chest.